How you all doing? Can you hear me properly? Hi guys, how are you all doing? Can you hear me? Can I receive some responses in the chat just to check if you can hear me properly? Hi. Hi everyone. Okay, great. Somebody said they're super excited. Hi Satish. Hey, hi Udit. Hi Akash. Okay, great. You can hear me. Hey, hi Tanishk. How are you? Awesome. Okay, fantastic. Hey, great. I'm so glad. So at any point, if you hear some disturbance or if you're not getting my video properly, let me know and I will try and fix that. And yeah, I'm so excited to be here. It's my first live session and hope it goes well. So I actually want to shout out from all of you. How many of you have actually participated in Up Your Resume challenge? Hi, Sohard. Hi. Okay, fantastic. Sohad says he has. Hi, Bhavya. Hi, Pavan. Awesome. So I think a lot of you here, Anshul also is here. Great. So I think a lot of you here have actually participated in Up Your Resume challenge. So guys, I just want to let you all know how proud I am because the fact that you've actually participated in this challenge shows how passionate you are towards your career and taking your career in your own hands. So I'm really happy. And for this challenge, actually, we've received over 100 resumes from college students all across the country. But in this session, we can only review three resumes. But don't worry if I don't pick yours because me and my team, we've selected the resumes in such a way so that all your doubts, all your confusions, the common mistakes that you make, everything will be covered and you can implement that in your resumes as well. Okay. So along the way, while I'm sharing the resume feedback, if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, or if you have any doubts that you would like to clear, please leave your comments in the chat and I will try and clear simultaneously as well. Otherwise, towards the end, we will also have just like a Q&A sort of a session, and you can again ask all your doubts, all your questions, and I will try and clear that as well. Okay, so are you ready? Let's begin. Hi. Okay, so let me set this up for you guys. Okay, so can you all see my screen? I hope you can. Do you want my screen to be slightly bigger, slightly smaller? Tell me, and I can fix that for you right now. And then we will go into the resume feedback. Are we good? All right. So, guys, let's begin. Great. So, I think you all can see my screen now. So, the first resume, you want my screen to be bigger, is it? So, let me make it slightly big for now, and then probably as the need be, we can make it smaller. Fine. Okay. All right. So, guys, yes, I will increase the resume size as well. First, actually, I wanted to show you how the entire resume looks like, and then I will zoom in the screen so that you can see the resume properly as well. All right. So this is the first resume that we are reviewing. I am not sure if this person is here or not, but anyways, we're going to review his resume. So this resume, as you can see here, it looks like this, and it goes on to 2 pages. All right. So first, let me quickly give some of the good points and what I actually liked in this particular resume. So when I was going through this person's resume, I felt that his academic achievements were fantastic. Let me zoom in and show it to you. So he actually has a 9.7 out of 10 GPA, rank 1 out of 132. Even in his school, he was like fantastic achievements. So I think overachiever student, really good academics. Um, Other than that, I felt all his projects that he's spoken about, I think the explanation of those projects has also been done really well. So good job at that. You've done a good job there. And now let's look at some feedback as to how this resume can be even improved further. All right. Okay, so the first thing coming to personal data. So if you see here, guys, there is place and date of birth, address, phone, email, LinkedIn, and others. So when it comes to personal information, right, the first question is what should you and should you not include? Can I get some responses from all of you? What do you think should be included in personal data and what do you think should not be included? So, when it comes to personal information, you should definitely include your full name, you should include your phone number, and you should include your email address because these three information are actually non-negotiable. You have to include that on your resume because if the hiring manager actually likes your profile and they want to get in touch with you, they will either do it through a phone call or an email. While on the other hand, when it comes to address, date of birth, all these things are actually not required. In fact, I feel that date of birth actually creates an unnecessary bias against you. So don't include your date of birth, don't include your place, not needed. You should definitely include LinkedIn. You should definitely include other profile links which the student has done, like Code Chef, Code Forces, GitHub, good practice. Okay. Also, what I feel is that this particular personal data part, right, it's occupying too much space on this resume. You see, so much space on this resume is being taken only by personal data. So, what can be done is you write your full name here, and then in one strip, just mention all your personal information. So, you can start with your phone number, your email ID, your LinkedIn profile, your GitHub profile, and all that, and just finish it in one strip. You don't have to make your personal data occupy so much information. Okay. Um, Somebody is saying gender should also be included. Again, gender also creates an unnecessary bias against you, and you should not include that. All right. Okay. So this is about personal data. Now coming to projects, internships, and experiences. So if you see here, there are almost 8 to 10 projects, internship experiences, and if a hiring manager actually looks at it, because there are so many projects under one category, right? They might just read two or three and skip the rest. That is one issue. Secondly, coming to education. So, a lot of people have this doubt what should come first? Should education come first or should work experience come first? So, because most of you are college students, the most important thing right now that you're actually doing in your career is pursuing that degree. So, after your personal information, the next section should always be education. Okay, so let's see. So, the next section should be education. Now, here I think the information has been presented quite well, so I'm not going to, comment more on this. I think it's done well. So, put the education section next. After that, projects, internship experiences should come. And once I was reading this, right, I found that there are some competitions here as well. There are some projects also, internships also. So it's actually better to divide them into separate categories. That actually makes it easier for the hiring manager to also understand whether it's a work experience, whether it's an internship, whether it's a technical project, whether it's a competition, what is it exactly. So the first thing that you should do is actually divide them into categories. After your education, keep work experience or internships, and then after that, keep technical projects if you've taken up, and then after that, you should put your competitions. So this should be the order that you should follow. All right. And now coming to the next part, which is achievements and awards. So I think this person, as I told you earlier, right, is an overachiever and he's got some great awards. But if you see, it has not been explained very well. Like if I see the second award that this person has won, which is Geet Amal Ghosh Roy Award by director IIT Bhilai. Now, if I read Geet Amal Ghosh Roy Award, I have no idea what this award actually means. So what you should do is even when you're writing your achievements and awards section, always give a one line explanation as to what is this award about? Why did you get that award? And out of how many people did you get that award? So probably for this Geet Amal Ghosh Roy Award, the student could have written one or won the Geet Amal Ghosh Roy Award out of 1,000 students in IIT Bhilai for academic excellence. That tells me what is the value of this award. Firstly, out of 1,000 people, you are the only one to get this award. And why have you got this award? It's because of academic excellence. So you should explain these things. All right. Same goes for positions of responsibility. When I'm looking at the positions of responsibility, only the positions have actually been stated. But what were your responsibilities actually in this particular, all these different societies and clubs that you're talking about? I have no idea. So please explain that as well, right? And when you're talking about your positions of responsibility, along with that, you should mention the date and you should mention the month and year, in a period format. When did you take up this position of responsibility? And then finally, when did it end? You should mention that as well. Coming to skills, I think skills are fine. If you don't want to write advanced knowledge, intermediate knowledge, basic knowledge, you can actually skip that as well and just list down all your skills. Probably you can divide them as programming languages, databases, make those kind of categories rather than this sort of a category. Then coming to courses. It's not super important for you to list down all the courses that you're studying because obviously all the courses you must be studying in your college, right? I am talking about a two-pager. Just give me 1 second. Yes. So, list down only few courses which are actually important for that particular job that you're applying to, and that will really help you do that job well. Other courses, you don't have to list them down. In fact, courses is something that you can directly put in the education category under all this. After your CGPA 9.7 out of 10, you can create a bullet point and list down relevant coursework. That is something you can do. Okay. And then interests and hobbies are there, which is fine. Now, coming to this biggest question, should you actually have a two-pager resume? No. If you are, so what do hiring managers feel is that if you are somebody who has less than 5 years of work ex, then you should always stick to a one-pager resume. And why is that? Because they feel you have not done enough in your career to be going on and on about your career for 2 pages. If at all you can't fit information in one page, then you go for a two-pager, but then you should always try and attempt to fit all the information in one page only. So if I look at the student's resume, right, I feel a lot of space around the margins has actually gone waste. So you can reduce that margin space and actually fit in all that information in one page. Personally, I feel whatever information you have put in can actually fit into one page if you make that attempt. So always try and fit this information in one page, and I think then your resume will be good to go. Okay. Any questions before I proceed from this particular resume or any other doubts? Then I will move on to the next one. No, we're good. It's just taking some time, guys, for the responses to come in. So there might be some lag while I'm answering your doubts. Okay, so while I wait for your questions, let me move on to the next resume. So this is the next resume I have from Mr. Masoor, and this is a very uh, what should I say? This is a resume that I'm actually seeing again and again nowadays. And even if I just look at it, I actually know where this resume has been prepared. So how many of you have actually prepared your resumes in this fashion? It's actually been created on Novo Resume, right? So this is a very typical Novo Resume layout that I'm seeing most people go for again and again. So how many of you have actually made your resumes on Novo Resume? So today I'm going to actually review three resumes. I've done one, and this is the second one that's going on, and I'm going to review one more. All right. Yes, yes, I know there is a lag. Sorry, can't help it. No, so one question somebody asked is it okay for resume to be in half or three-fourth page? It's actually not okay. If you're preparing a one-pager resume, make sure you fill that entire one page. And if at all you're going for a two-page resume, both pages should be filled. Or at least you should arrange information in such a way, make spacing and all that, fix the aesthetics in that way that both the pages look filled. If one page is full, second page you've used probably only one third of it, it doesn't give a good impression. All right. So if you're going for one page or two page, both the pages should be completely filled. Okay, some people are telling me they prepared it on latex. Some people are saying overleaf. Okay. Another question that I'm getting here is, should we tailor our resume for the position that we are applying to? Absolutely. That is actually the purpose of a resume. If you're applying for any job, you should always try and tailor your resume to that particular job. The kind of impact that your resume will make will be much different as compared to like a general resume that you create. Yes, I am getting some responses about Nova resume. Some people are saying Word. Okay. All right. So guys, let's review this second resume that we have here. So this is also something which is called as a creative resume. And nowadays a lot of people are actually creating these resumes. So before I even go into before I even go into the feedback part, always remember that this kind of resume might not work with all sort of companies. Creative resumes work very well with companies which are modern and which are very innovative. So probably if you're going for Facebook, Google, Microsoft, definitely this kind of resume will work. But if you're going for like more traditional companies which are more set in their ways, then this resume might not work. So I'm so sorry. So always think about which kind of companies that you're applying to and then decide the kind of resume format that you're going for. But okay, let's look at this one. So again, I think let me first tell the good things that I actually found in this resume. So I think some of the good things in this resume were that this person has a very diverse profile. Good education, good work experience, lot of projects, awards, leadership positions, extracurricular activities, certifications. So personally, I felt that it's a very diverse profile. And nowadays, hiring managers are not looking for someone who's just skilled in one thing. They are actually looking for someone who can do multiple things, right? Somebody who has good soft skills, but somebody who also has good technical skills, somebody who has good leadership skills, but at the same time also has teamwork skills. So showing a good diversity in your profile is actually very important, and which is what I could see in this person's resume. So good job at that. Now coming to personal information. So if you see, there was actually a picture on this resume that I've hidden. So what do you think? Should you even put pictures on your resumes or should you not? Any idea? What do you feel? So pictures actually, guys, should not be uploaded on your resume until and unless you're going for a how should I say, you're going for a role where how you look actually matters. If you're going for a software engineer position and you just have to sit on your desk and do the job, is it important how you actually look? No, right? But probably if you're going for a sales role where you have to sell hair gel, or if you're just going for modeling, then how you look actually plays an important role. Only in that case you should put a picture. Why I'm asking you to not put a picture is because again it creates an unnecessary bias against you. You don't know who is actually looking at your resume, and sometimes if you put a picture and somebody is looking at it, they might just create an unnecessary bias against you just by looking at you. So why put yourself in that position? So please don't do that. All right. And again, coming to this personal information part, right? I feel it's occupying a lot of space. And I think these are some issues when you go for like these online resume builders because they don't give you a lot of flexibility to play around with the format. You just have to use the format that is there. So that is one issue that I find with online resume builders, right? Coming to career objective or giving yourself a title like a software engineer or software developer, please don't give yourself titles. It actually limits your own ability to do things. And secondly, career objectives, guys, are done away with. Nowadays, in modern resumes, nobody puts a career objective. In fact, what you want to do, what is the kind of role that you're looking for, what are your interests, all these things are something that should be part of your cover letter when you're sending your resume to somebody in the email body, that is something should be written, or if there is a place to attach a cover letter separately, then that is where all this information should come. But no, career objectives are no longer a part of your resume, and you should just avoid writing career objectives, summaries, all those things. Okay. Right. So this was about personal information. Now coming to this two-column format. Again, what this two-column format does, right? It makes it very difficult for you to follow information. So, and it's also not giving clarity how the person reading your resume will actually be looking at the information. Will they be only looking at the first column and then going to the second column, or will they be looking at first and second column together? It's very difficult. So, always better to stick to a one column format. In fact, when your resume is even going to the ATS, right, which is the application tracking software used by a lot of companies to shortlist candidates, it's easier for the ATS also to pick out information. In a two-column format, it can be slightly difficult. Okay. So coming to education part looks fine. Yeah, so not going to comment on the education part. Coming to the projects part. So I think this person, what they have done is that they've actually given a very detailed information about all the projects that they've done and what were some of their responsibilities in the projects. But whenever you are writing your work experience sections or project sections or leadership sections for that matter, always remember this one simple rule, which is CAR. So what is CAR? C stands for challenge, A stands for action, and R stands for result. So, whenever you're writing anything, whether work experience or projects, try and explain what was the challenge that you faced. Finally, what was the action that you took out of it? And then what was the result? Because even if you're doing a project or you're working somewhere, there has to be a purpose why you're doing that job, right? Because without that purpose, you're not going to do that thing. So what was the purpose or what was the challenge that you were actually trying to solve? Then finally, what did you do to solve it? And then once you solved it, what was the result out of it? And even when you write results, try and use statistics as much as possible. You should try and use numbers. So in say for example, you've gone for a digital marketing position. So instead of saying that worked with the digital marketing team to improve the social media presence of the company. Say, for example, you write like this. It's a very vague statement, right? You worked for a digital marketing team to improve the social media presence of the company. That's not great. But say you write, um, worked with the digital marketing team to increase the social media presence of the company on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat by by email campaigns and ad campaigns, which actually resulted in a 15% increase in the online customer base of the company. You see, this statement is more powerful, right? You're talking about what was the challenge, that the social media presence on all these platforms was less. What did you do through email campaigns and ad campaigns? You actually tried to increase the presence. And what did it result in? It actually resulted in a 15% increase in the customer base. So write statements in this format. What will happen is that whatever bullet points that you're writing under these topics, they will be crisp, they will be easy to follow, and they will not take up so much space. You see here, projects, at least there are almost 4 or 5 points in each of the projects that this person has written, which is why the information is flowing all over to the second page. Correct? So the moment you write crisp statements, concise statements, putting in all the information in those short sentences, it's going to be much easier for you to follow. Yes. All right. Great. So that is something about projects, work experience, leadership positions you should always remember. Now, looking at, yeah, so for work experience also, I will say the same thing. In fact, some people actually what they do is if they've interned at a particular company or they actually try and explain what the company is about, you don't need to do that. You don't need to tell what the company is about. You don't have to explain what the company does, right? So that's not essential. You should just explain what you have done in that company. Don't waste your space with that. Awards. I think award explanation here has been pretty decent as compared to the last one. So I think this can be definitely improved by including again more statistics and why you got that award and all those things, right? Skills is okay. See, projects are actually continuing in the left column all the way from the first page to the second page. So it's actually very difficult to follow in this two-column format. Extracurricular activities is fine, can be reduced because there's so many extracurricular activities, right? Some of them even don't have an explanation. So probably pick like four extracurricular activities, or you can also call it extracurricular achievements. I see here that under extracurricular activities, both leadership positions and competitions have been merged. So probably you can actually split it into two parts. That would actually look better. Split it into two categories, okay? And certifications. So instead of listing down the certifications one after the other, you can actually combine it with your skills section and then you can just give comma and write down all the certifications that you have. And you see this white space on the second page that is completely blank. It's actually not giving a good impression. So my suggestion, go for a single column format, stick to a one pager, and instead of adopting all these techniques where you write skills one after the other or certifications one after the other, don't do that. Give commas and write that occupies less space. And no career objective, that way you will again save some more space. All right. So this was my feedback, my review for the second resume that we have here. So, somebody's asking, explaining all the responsibilities is needed. Won't it take a lot of space? If done strategically, it will not take up a lot of space. But yes, you should definitely explain what you did in that project because if you just list it down and somebody reading it doesn't understand anything, then what is the point of even listing down that project? Just to increase number, that actually doesn't make much sense. Yeah. All right. So, guys, now going to the third and the final resume that we have here, which is this one. So, again, by Mr. Balyan. So, I think now you will be actually able to pick out most of the common mistakes. So, remember, I told you most of the students have made the same mistakes over and over again. So, first, let me tell you what are some of the things I actually loved about this resume. The first thing was that it's a one-pager resume. So, very feels really good to the eye to see a one-pager resume. That's number one. Secondly, I feel the format and the fact that it is a one column format, I think that's very soothing to me. The aesthetics are really good about this resume, and that is what I like about it. And now coming to the feedback portion of it and how it can be improved. So, as we said, objectives is something that can be completely done away with. This person in the personal information section has given me the non-negotiables, which is email and phone number, but I also feel that LinkedIn can be included. And along with that, if you have any other online profiles like, GitHub profile, Code Chef, there is Kaggle, there is Hacker Earth, you can also mention those links as well. All right. Coming to educational qualification. So my suggestion would be to not go for this tabular format for listing down your education qualifications. Uh, that is one thing. Secondly, coming to CGPA, because if you go for this tabular format, right, you have no option but to include your CGPA. But guys, if your CGPA is not that great, like in this case, it's a 6.38. Sorry, the moment I read it, it's creating a not so good impression, right? So instead, what you can do is not put your CGPA. Nowhere does it say that you have to include your CGPAs on your resume. If you're not happy with it, that's an information you can choose to hide. If you're going for college placements and if the college really asks you to put in that information, then you don't have any choice. But if you're going for internships or if you're going for off campus jobs, if you're not happy with your CGPA, don't mention it. Yeah. So you have that flexibility. Next is skills. So after you see immediately after education qualification, skills have been put. Now, the thing with this person's resume is that they have not done any internship so far, so they don't have like a formal work experience, which is fine, guys. When we're starting out, all of us don't have internships, so it's completely okay. So instead, what you should do is after education qualifications, the next section should be key academic projects or technical projects, all right, and list down those. Now, for the academic projects, if you again see, there are almost four or three bullet points, right? Here also, I feel that the information can actually be clubbed together in the CAR format and completed in one to two bullet points only. Also, on the right hand side, the timeline of these projects are missing. So, when did you complete these projects? Are you still doing these projects? So, probably those things should also be included. After the key academic projects, if you feel that your skills are really important and you want to show that, then probably after your academic projects, you can mention the skills. Coming to positions of responsibility. So here, this person has actually made an attempt to explain the positions of responsibility, which is great. But this is again a very common mistake that I see with most of the students. Like you see here, member design, MUN Society, LNMIIT, designed several posters for the club. It is such a weak statement, right? Design several posters for the club. So, how can you make the statement better? Instead of just saying several, it's a very vague term. You can say probably you designed 10 posters or 12 posters. So, you can say designed 12 posters and brochure for the club, which was viewed by. You can probably say how many colleges it reached or how many views that poster got and poster get. And after that, you can also talk about how many students participated for those events in which you made those posters. So you could probably say designed 12 posters for the MUN Society, which had a viewership of over 1K and with participation from over 400 students in an event of 3 days. Something like that. I'm just making stuff up from the top of my head, but this is probably how you can strengthen the statement that you're writing. Okay. So please do these things when you're writing your positions of responsibility. Extracurricular activities are fine, but again, it would be great if you can actually include more statistics and more numbers. They have to be real numbers, guys. You can't fake it. All right. So that's important. I think, yeah, these are some small things that I actually noticed. Other than that, I've actually shared most of the points with you guys. So, not gonna waste much time on this. So, guys, this was my review and was my feedback for these three resumes. All the other resumes that I've actually seen fall in either of these categories. So, I hope I've actually cleared most of your doubts. And now for an open question and answer round. So if you have any questions, please let me know and I will try and clear that for you. Just a second. Yeah. So tell me, guys, how can I now clear your doubts? Anything? Are we good? Did this feedback session help you? Were you able to identify some of the common mistakes that you also do sometimes? No picture. Yes, no picture is actually a good thing. Thank you. I'm so sorry, there is a lag in the way the comments are also coming. So just give me a second. Uh, how can one include volunteering experience, say participation in a Rotaract club? Great question. So, depends. Actually, volunteering experience is something which is super flexible, right? So, if you're creating an extracurricular activities section, volunteering experience can go in that. If you're creating a leadership position section, volunteering experience can actually go in that as well. Or if you have a lot of volunteering experience, you can actually create a separate section just for volunteering. And whichever section you're including, you should explain your volunteering experience in that way. So again, in a CAR fashion, or at least by including statistics, you should explain what have you done in that Rotaract club. What were some events that you participated in? How many people participated in the event that you were organizing? So you can explain those things. There is actually, okay, let's talk about resumes and CVs, right? What is the difference? So, a resume is something which you always tailor according to your job position. And what is a CV? A CV is something where all your qualifications, everything keeps getting added in the CV. So you send your CVs for academic positions. You send your CV when you are when you are somebody who's very fresh into your career, who hasn't had much experience. So in that case, you include everything and you don't tailor it. But what is a resume? A resume is something which is more tailored for a particular job application. So that's the difference. But other than that, actually, the kind of format that you choose for your resume, the kind of format you choose for your CV is almost the same. Along with that, there's a difference in the length. So a resume is definitely you should stick to a one-pager resume. But for a CV, because you are including all the information as to what you have actually done, the length can be slightly more. So it can be somewhere between 2 to 4 pages also. Yeah. How important is the font similarity among headings and the bullet points? I think the font should be constant throughout your resume. You should not play around with it so much. In fact, Google it later on. You should always go for a sans serif fonts. So sans serif fonts examples are Arial, Calibri. You should probably go for these fonts. Fonts like Times New Roman are actually serif fonts, and those are something you should try and avoid. Okay. Google as to what these fonts mean. It's pretty interesting. Where would you advise us to create our resume? Personally, I feel you can actually create your resumes on Word document, but a lot of students tell me that there's a lot of formatting that they have to do and they're not comfortable with it. But for me, I feel that it gives me the entire control over my document, whatever changes I want to make. So I always create my resumes on Word document, Microsoft Word. Any other questions? Probably one or two more questions, guys, and then we will call this a day. Good question. Is it advisable to bold text? A lot of people do. Personally, I feel you should not do it because it actually makes your resume less comfortable to read. So you should not bold your text. Other than your headings, obviously. The running text, you should not use bold there. If someone exaggerates his or her skills to get the resume shortlisted, will it create the problem? Probably not when you're actually getting shortlisted, but later on, if you go for an interview and there are certain skills you have lied about, and then they ask you questions regarding that, and if you're not able to answer that, then obviously your lie comes out, right? And then they will not even believe anything on your resume. Or probably later on, when they're going for background checks after you've actually been, after you've actually cleared the interview and when they're going for background checks, and if something comes up, then again you might lose your job. So personally, I feel you should never lie on your resume or exaggerate on your resume. It never turns out well. Yeah. Do foreign universities require applicants to send in their resume or CV? If yes, what are some things we should avoid? So, foreign universities, you can always check what the foreign universities are looking for. They usually specify, but if they're not specifying, you should always send a CV because CVs are always better for academic purposes. All right. Yes. So, guys, great. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure interacting with all of you. And probably we will do these up your resume challenges more in the future. And if you actually want to work on your resume or learn how to create a good resume and then receive one-to-one feedback from me, you can actually join us for our workshop. It's actually starting towards the April end. I will share the link with you and you can check it out. And if you want to join us, you can. So, yeah. I've actually shared the link with you in the chat so you can check out the workshop. It actually consists of all the three: resume, GD preparation, and interview preparation. And along with that, it consists of one-to-one feedback on your resume, mock GD, and mock interview sessions. So do join us, and I think it would be great interacting with you all again. And have a wonderful evening and have a great rest of the week ahead. Bye, guys, and take care.